waiting for this.
You are now listening to Digital Suplex Radio.
Man, we got a bunch of shit to talk about.
So much happened.
So much happened. Weeks. You know, we like to let it marinate. Let all the other dirt sheets talk about it, and then we come in, swoop in, boom, get the pin. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
We about to really.
It's designed that way. That's why we do this.
Exactly. Yeah, we had it all planned. You know, not due to scheduling. But Shane, how are you?
I'm doing okay, man. It's been a wild few weeks, hasn't it?
I was gonna say, man.
It's there's so much has happened that it feels like the MJF thing was like 50 years ago, and like no one gives a shit.
Right.
Like honestly, I don't think anyone. They probably shouldn't even do anything because I think the world in wrestling has changed so drastically in just a few weeks that it doesn't even seem worth it to even waste your time on it.
But, I understand, and it's just so much happened, and you know. This is a great time to be not only just a wrestling content creator, but just to be like a wrestling fan in general. Because it's like, if you're a diehard wrestling fan and know stuff going on behind the scenes, you're going to be talking about this stuff for years to come. So I'm glad we're living in this little era. I don't know where to start.
Where should we start?
Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess we can get this out the way since this is a little bit old news.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about the whole Jeff Hardy incident.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I had a couple of things to say on this, and a lot of people already said it. But as some of y'all may know, or you know, I know Shane knows, like I'm a huge Jeff Hardy mark, bro. Like I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan. Like since I was a little kid, you know, the Hardys always stood out to me. Jeff was everybody's hero for everybody who was like on the like an alternative wrestling fan, like not the traditional kind of like style of wrestling and stuff like that. He was exciting. His look was awesome. Everything he did was charismatic. Even every little thing he did, from like getting into the ring, you know what I'm saying, his interest music, everything was made him special. And, you know, you follow him throughout his career, and, you know, he has his demons and stuff like that. But unfortunately, caught up to him again, you know, recently. I think it was like last week, something like that. Jeff Hardy got arrested for DUI, and everybody knows the story. But let's go ahead and dissect this, what really happened and what's going on. So before I say anything, I will say, we mentioned a couple episodes a long time ago. I chose to go to a Jeff Hardy meet and greet. You know, I chose to go to that over the ROH Supercard, which was one of the best shows they put on. And the sad thing is that mugshot picture Jeff Hardy took is the same way he looked at that meet and greet.
Like he was probably also on something too. Yeah. And I don't think anything's ever stopped with him. You know, it's just, I think he's always been good. Like always been able to do what he needs to do to be okay, to get cleared, and then still struggle with his addiction, man. That shit's hard. That shit sticks with you.
It does stick with you. A lot of questions got raised because, you know, as everybody might know, WWE let him go because they were under the assumption that he was on some shit. But turns out he was clean when the drug test results came back. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people are like saying, like, hey man, you know, so why, you know, when he joined AEW after doing all these crazy stunts, all this, you know, he's back on the road and doing all this stuff with his brother, you know, are they putting him under stress? Is that what made him go back, you know, to unfortunately kind of relapse? Is that the question? And that's what everybody's asking right now. So
yeah, I don't know, you know,
and I don't have the answer. That's the thing.
Addiction's not really black and white, man. Addiction is complex and stuff like that. And what I do want to say is, you know, I haven't seen a lot of it, but it still gets out there. A lot of like condemnation and a lot of shaming, you know, on Jeff's part. And like personally, how I feel, like for me, addiction is not a moral issue to me. Like it's bigger than good or bad, man. Like it's like it's a health issue. Like, you know, it's a disease and it really fucks with you. And, you know, I'm not surprised that Jeff is still struggling. You know, of course he's been struggling for so long. I know everyone wants that feel good, like he finally conquered it, but like addiction's not something you really like conquer in that way. Like it's always going to kind of be there with you. And I think at this point, like with what wrestling does to your body and like what Jeff has historically done to cope with that. I mean, if he keeps wrestling, he's just going to keep repeating these patterns, I think. And I think it's at this point, because it's always been, you know, go get clean and come back when you're clean. It's always been like, come back when you're clean, like come back when you're clean. And I just don't know if wrestling is the place for him to be when he's, you know, he's had a wonderful career. He's accomplished many great things. And you have to wonder if it's all worth it, if you're going to keep putting yourself through that and keep, and putting your body through that. And, I don't judge or condemn or shame, users at all, especially if like you are using and you are, you don't have a problem, it's whatever. I have no like judgment there. I just think that like if he's serious about wanting to be clean and like wanting to be like to not, fuck with that stuff anymore, then I think wrestling is just going to keep enabling him to do it personally.
Yeah. That lifestyle. It's a rock star lifestyle. And he's doing it when he's 45.
Yeah.
This ain't the same.
He's still doing like swanton, like, swantons off the top. And like, is he still jumping off ladders? Is he still?
He jumped off that scaffold in AEW. They jumped off the scaffold. It's just like, you can't do that stuff anymore. And I hope it's not like a Randy the Ram, Ric Flair situation where it's like, I think I can, because Matt Hardy talks about all the time. And, I think they were scheduled to win the tag titles too, which makes it even more sad. But it's just like, Matt Hardy still wants this last run with the Hardy Boys. I think Jeff does too. It's just about that time, y'all. Y'all got millions of dollars. You've already been WWE champion. You've done all. You traveled the world. What more do you have to prove? It's nice to see him come out there and do the dance, but I mean, and then you get to the match and he looks like he's in pain. Like I don't want to see him in pain.
Nah, man. Yeah, because it does. It gets. You start feeling bad. You stop having fun with it. When you see, and like, and the infamous, Sting incident, when he had to wrestle Sting and he was too fucked up to even do anything in the ring. Like it's those scenarios where it becomes, it's not even, it just becomes sad and it becomes hard to watch a man continue to do that to himself. And like, and again, I'm not shaming anyone that, that does use and doesn't have a problem with using or whatever, even if you are, I don't judge that kind of stuff. But if Jeff is serious, then like, I think it's time, man. He doesn't have to come back. He doesn't owe anyone anything. He's got nothing else to prove to us.
It's about that time. I think it's time for him to. It's time for him to hang up the boots, bro. And honestly, I wouldn't even be mad at it. Like you just said, we talk about all the time. Addition ain't is just simple. Like, I'm not gonna drink today. Eddie Guerrero said that's a trick he used to learn. That's a trick he learned to try to curb his alcoholism in his book. He said, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stop drinking. I said I'm gonna just stop drinking today.
Right.
So it's a one step at a time thing. And swerving off the road. I couldn't even watch the video. He just swerving off the road, just and
like his blood alcohol level was high.
Yeah,
it was bad.
It was like three times the legal
limit. 3 times the legal limit.
So that's obviously something and then the video came out. I don't know if you saw it, where he was like, whiskey is my best friend and my worst enemy. And he took a shot, and that was like the night before he got pulled over. And that was like, got pulled over at like 9:48 a.m.
Yeah, it was like during the day. That's what I saw. Like it wasn't even like a late night thing.
I thought it was, yeah.
Maybe he was still out. Maybe he's still out from the night, and that's wrestling too. Like, because not only do you let a party, like you work hard, play hard, but also that's what they're also using to, cover the cost of not being able to take care of their bodies, the way they should, like health insurance and stuff like that. And if they ever even go to the hospital. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's booze, it's painkillers, it's whatever. And that shit, like once you get all hooked on it, it's not simple to just stop. Addiction, it sticks with you, and it's a day-by-day thing. And no judgment to Jeff, no condemnation. I don't want to shame Jeff. I hate seeing people get on the internet and fucking shame people, for being, for having addiction.
Kicking him while he's down, honestly.
Yeah, kicking him and somehow like making like a moral thing that like he's a bad person somehow. I've seen a little bit of it, not as much from, the people that I follow, because I follow people that are, human, but like human beings. But it's one of those things where if wrestling is continuing to do this to you, like it's not, I don't think it's as simple as, stop for a couple months and pass a drug test and come back. I think wrestling itself is going to continue enabling, because that is going to be it's like intrinsic to the industry, is that kind of hard living, because it kind of has to be,
Very well said. And he's old, he has kids to look after, you know what I mean? I think his health comes first. Honestly, if that was our last time seeing Jeff Hardy wrestle, which I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
I don't feel like anything was left unsaid. I don't feel like, oh, what if? I'm like, my friend has had many what ifs. Yeah. And he's done all of them. Like he's had many comebacks. He's done all of them. Like he really has.
Yeah, and you're literally a multiple time world champion, and like you know,
like I don't need the Hardy Boy, mesh shirts with the baggy pants and the music. I don't need that anymore. Like I
it's
don't.
Cool.
It's cool. It's a cool throwback.
Yeah, it feels like a
I don't
think
anyone's going to be too mad if Jeff finally says like I need to step away.
Yeah, so here's hoping that Jeff Hardy gets the help he need and just sit your ass down, bro. Just sit your ass down, please, for everybody. And that's just some tough love. Just sit your ass down, bro. You don't got to do all that shit, man. You don't got to go on no goddamn AAA circuit, bro. Stop, bro. AEW, you don't need to do no more ladder match. Just sit your ass down, Jeff. That's all I gotta say.
You don't need doing more ladder matches.
Yeah,
it would be one thing if like because in Japan, wrestlers. A lot of times they'll wrestle in their fucking 50s, but what they do is they wrestle big tag matches, really limited, and some of them go for those big main event matches, but they start to kind of adjust their style with age. Jeff wants to be all the way up, no matter how old he is. He wants to be 50 fucking years old, falling off ladders. How do you learn to fall off a ladder? You know what I mean?
That's what Jim Ross said. But so hopefully
that's what Jim Ross said. Don't try this at home, kids.
That's what so we hope that Jeff gets the help he needs. Matt talked about it more on his podcast, so if y'all want to check that out, do that. He kind of talked about what he's going through, but
nothing but the best for Jeff. I hope he gets well, and whatever choices he makes, if he continues to drink or whatever, that's one thing. I'm not. Again, I don't shame or judge people for what they do like that. But if he is serious about wanting to be well and to kind of, and to not kind of succumb to all of that anymore, wrestling is not the place for him. It really isn't.
Yeah. So very tough. That's just the business. That's just business. You know what I'm saying? Just, that's what comes with wrestling. You got your demons and stuff like that. But also what comes with wrestling is scandals. So
many scandals involving promoters.
Here we go.
Those fucking carnies. That's some carny shit with all of their schemes and their dealings.
Here we go. We get into the main event early or what? Let's go ahead.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Everybody's favorite billionaire.
Everybody's favorite sports entertainment promoter.
So, man, where do I even start? So, Vince has always been kind of like a horn dog, you know what I mean?
He's always been a horn dog. He's always been just a raging lunatic. Also, he's always just been insane. But also, he has always been a sex pest. This goes back a long time too. That happened. There was a scandal back in the 80s. You've probably read about this. The first female referee, so she was the first female referee, and then she was in Vince's limo, and I think they were talking about better pay or something, whatever, but he propositioned to get head from her, and she was like, well, no, not doing that. And then he proceeded to rape her. This goes back. Vince has always been a fucking piece of shit in that regard. Yeah. He's always been wielding his power over people for sexual favors, which is so fucked up, which really was kind of what this comes down to. I'm not going to put words in people's mouth as far as consent or what was going on. When you look at the details of putting this woman, hiring her as a paralegal on your payroll, and then the story said, in quotes, using her as a toy to John Laurinaitis, going back and forth, and then paying, what was it, $3 million?
$3 million.
$3 million hush money to not say anything. That's
NDA.
NDAs, baby. NDA. You sign NDAs when you know you've done some shit. That's when you offer up NDAs for people.
So Vince, basically got caught up with this, and basically, long story short, paid hush money, $3 million. Everybody heard the story, but now we get into the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a wrap for this? Is it a wrap for him or what? Is it a wrap? Is it over for him or what do you think?
If you the McMahon family has fallen really hard this year, haven't they?
Yeah.
From 2021 to kind of now, Triple H kind of got ousted from his deal. he's kind of, out.
What happened with that? What happened?
Well, just because I mean, like, with NXT and stuff, he kind of like started getting less and less prominent positions.
Yeah.
And then he has his, his health issues. So he's kind of been phased out.
Then he had to retire from in-ring.
Right. He's kind of been phased out in terms of like, influence and power in the company. That's kind of what I mean. Mm-hmm. And then Stephanie McMahon, like,
she stepped down, right?
She stepped down.
Do you think that's because she knew some shit was going on?
She had the timing. She had to have. She had to have.
Why would you announce that?
Something.
Yeah.
She had to know something.
Yeah. And so Stephanie McMahon stepped down like what, 2 weeks
right before it.
This came out. So it was bound to happen.
Yeah. And like, I mean, Shane McMahon's always been kind of the black sheep of that family. Vince has always hated Shane.
Yeah. So
there's always been that issues, like bringing him back, firing him. They fired him again. And yeah. And I don't even think Linda McMahon. I think Linda McMahon's still like a shareholder, like owns like a majority of like a good portion of shares, but isn't like a part of like the official, like whatever the fucking hierarchy is.
Man, who knows? But
yeah,
they're not even together. They're not even together no more, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I don't know. I think their marriage was always at this point has always been about just saving face publicly, because I mean she's a prominent, well not prominent, but she's in the GOP and was on the fucking Small Business Administration under Trump. Yeah, they had that fucking picture with the McMahons and Trump.
Just disgusting.
And she's always been a fucking right-wing psycho racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vince,
Yeah, I was laughing. You say you always been a right-wing psycho racist, and Vince McMahon has also been a right-wing psycho racist.
Has also been a right-wing psycho racist, and a sex pest, as we've seen. And yeah, like the McMahons have just gone down one by one. It's like an empire's falling. I personally hope, I have faith that it's going to come crumbling down and wrestling is finally going to be free from
I don't know.
Sadistic monopoly.
I feel like he's going to pull something out of his ass, though. I feel like he's going to pull something out of his ass.
He tried to on SmackDown. He tried to.
What was that?
He tried to just be like, welcome to SmackDown.
And, bro, and like I said, I do some very investigative journalism. So I follow pro AEW groups, pro WWE groups. These pro WWE groups are literally like, oh, what a Chad. Vince McMahon's a Chad, bro. He really went out there in the face of everybody.
Based Vince.
Oh, dude, $3 million is nothing. Oh, he paid off $3 million. What are the AEW virgins getting mad for just because he fucked? Oh, it was consensual. Who gives a fuck? It's just, bro, he's a Fortune 500 company owner, bro. Like, he shouldn't be doing, like, under the table shit.
And I won't even say anything because, who knows to, like, the extent of when we start getting into like, questions of consent, just because it hasn't, I don't think it's really come out in detail. Like all we really know is just the kind of the figures of like the money that was paid, like both when she was on staff and then when they signed the NDA. Like I haven't seen a lot of her talking anything about the sort of nature of the like sexual encounters, whether there was consent there, but like Vince has a history of harassment and sexual assault. So it's like not going to be a fucking shock if it comes out that, some of those encounters may have just been simply an issue of power. And like, that's what it comes down to me. It's like the most powerful man in the company, a billionaire, just basically wielding his power over people to get, sexual favors.
Woo!
Like
that's
consent,
that's fucked,
like consent or not, like that's still an issue of power dynamics.
It is.
It's still like
manipulation.
I don't know.
It's manipulation.
It's kind of manipulative, and like I think that shouldn't be missed. I don't think it should be as simple of, well, she did what she wanted to with her body. Sure, maybe so, for sure. Not at all gonna like take away her agency, but still, like there's still a power thing there. He knows what the fuck he's doing because he's Vince McMahon, and then basically passing her back and forth with John Laurinaitis.
Like a toy, like
that's
object.
Just straight up. That's straight up men with power using it to get what they want.
Like men with power that have money, man. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, bro, what else have we missed that's going on behind the scenes? You know what I mean? Like,
and then Sasha Banks. And then it was coming out that like, oh, Sasha Banks. Sorry, my dog couldn't.
No, you're good. You're good. He's trying to talk shit about Vince too. Yeah, you get him. Yeah.
And they said like, Sasha Banks, was like, rumored to be released. I don't know if it's been officially confirmed. But that was all happening as the Vince stuff was coming out. So everyone was like, "Oh, does Sasha know something?" And here's what I think: if any WWE employees, if talent, staff, if you know some shit, now is the time to say some shit, because that house of cards is falling. Yeah, if you've got some dirt about being abused, which if you work for the WWE, in and of itself, like you're being abused. Like, say something. Like this would be the time. This would be the time because I don't know if Vince can escape this one. I think the information spreads too fast now.
Yeah.
I have hope. I'm trying not to be cynical about it. Try not to be just like, well, he's a fucking rich piece of shit. Of course, he's just gonna sweep it under the rug and we're gonna move on. I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to have faith that some semblance of justice will be done here.
For once!
Something. Give me something. But so he stepped down from all of his like official positions, but he's still like head of creative. So he's still in rings like on the week to week, like on the weekly shows, which I thought was hilarious and also kind of fucked up.
Yeah. So he's still in creative, but the only thing is, Stephanie McMahon is now the interim. See, a lot of interim shit been going on since AEW been they're trying to copy AEW. So Stephanie
this is a booking thing.
Yeah. But Stephanie's now the operating. She's the fucking chairwoman, right? So I guess she handles the more financial aspect and advertising and stuff like that, or what?
Unless it's just
like just a word-based title,
just like a face, like just the face of it, like. Who knows? I feel like Vince he's evil enough to find ways to still pull strings while because I think they're like investigating it like internally, like they're used like through the WWE. So like I'm already like investigation, like bring some independent people that don't have as much at stake, to do some shit. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't trust internal investigations from companies like that. They should, I don't know. But I mean, ever since Nick Khan kind of joined, it seems like I don't know. It seems like a lot of shit has just been happening to the people in power at the WWE.
Is there a way for Nick Khan to eventually completely take over?
I honestly, like, if you look at this politically, if you kind of look at like positions and everything, it wouldn't be a far stretch to me. I think for him to like be kind of maneuvering to get to the top, but
he's not really even in the wrestling industry, but he's still
he's just like a TV guy, I think.
Yeah, and
he's just like he's just in the media industry in general.
So the WWE is just so profitable that Nick Khan will be that much interested to like really hop on this bandwagon of like, hey, Vince is fucking up, to where he's gonna try to get them all out.
Maybe. I don't know the extent of their relationship, but I mean, I'm just I'm seeing the people shit talk on the internet. I'm like, all right, but.
Yeah, man.
But at the end of the day, like, fuck Vince McMahon. And if you work for Vince McMahon and you've seen some shit, and you know some shit,
there you go.
Say some shit.
Yeah. Now's that time. Now's that time. The deck is stacked against them. Like, you cannot run away from like hiding like an affair. I don't even know if you want to call it an affair, but
right. Yeah, like I'm kind of being careful about using words just because like all we know is kind of like the numbers, like we just kind of know the facts of like on paper. But yeah, I think to get into like the actual like real dynamics, I think it's going to be a lot more complicated.
And this was recent, right? Like this
was happening for the last like, I think like she was hired in like 2019. So this was going on for like a few years.
That's still pretty recent though for just being that old.
Well, and some people were talking about did someone get accused of insider trading at WWE recently?
Kevin Dunn.
Yeah, Cornette was talking about this.
Yeah.
I don't listen to Cornette, but anytime he shits on Vince McMahon, I just kind of wanted to see what he was saying, just because like I don't really like Jim Cornette. I think he says some shit that's like not cool. But he does. At the end of the day, like I don't think anyone can insult people the way Jim Cornette can insult people.
He's perfect at it.
It's like the way his insults are just like Jesus, like just on objectively.
Yeah,
he can shit talk. But yeah, like so then the question came up like, well, why's Kevin Dunn trading? It's like, does he know something? Does he know what else does he know? Because Kevin Dunn and Vince are like,
yeah,
Kevin Dunn knows some shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kevin Dunn knows a lot of shit.
Yeah, for sure. And it's Kevin, Bruce, and Vince. I think those are the three. And like
Kind
Gerald Briscoe and Pat and whatever. That's like the
back in the day.
Yeah, that's the Rat Pack.
Those are his new stooges.
Those are the new stooges, bro. Kevin Dunn got
promoted
from like,
Pritchard and Dunn.
Yeah, he got promoted from like head of camera guys to like Vince's bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
and then like you know how he got that like job, like right, like because like apparently like a WWE like archive like burnt or whatever, really? And like Kevin Dunn had like rescued a bunch of it, or like his dad had rescued a bunch of it, and so like that was the deal, was like because you saved all this, like your family or your son has a job for life, so like he'll never be fired because of shit like that. So even though he's like a disgusting, like, you know, misogynistic piece of shit.
Yeah. So now Kevin feels like he's in debt and he has to like, you know, run to Vince's rescue and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Man, I wonder, like, it's messy. And so what I'm really hoping is because like it's not, because this isn't even the worst thing that Vince McMahon has ever done. Vince has done far more worse. Vince McMahon has covered up murder. He has been on site. He has overseen negligence that has led to the death of wrestlers, Owen Hart, because it saved more money to do so. Yeah. It saved him money to do those things that killed Owen Hart, and then moved on with the show.
Disgusting.
And like I've heard like there's been, you know, rampant, you know, sexual harassment from, you know,
which I believe.
And remember Ashley Massaro, you know, one of the divas, Ashley. Yeah, R.I.P. But you know, like when she was working for the company and like when they went overseas to like for the tribute with the troops or whatever, I think it was, like she reported that she was raped by a soldier there, and Vince McMahon and the company basically just told her to shut up because they don't want to ruin their relationship with the military.
Troops, brother. Yeah, with the troops, brother.
For the troops. Yeah. The things he has just said nothing. Don't even nah. Yeah. Then of course there was a steroid scandal in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
and that was, everyone thought that was going to be it. They thought WWE was done then, and somehow he pulled that victory out of his ass.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too confident about him going completely down. I'm not sure about him being a long-standing. I feel like Vince is going to be CEO until he dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Vince McMahon's going to live till he's about 103, and we're going to have to deal with it. It's basically how it goes, and that's that's a reality I've kind of just accepted.
Do you think that being, because Vince McMahon he's filthy rich, right? $3 million for hush money, bro.
Just pocket change to him. That's pennies.
That's unbelievable. Do you think getting that rich in this successful, quote unquote, do you have to turn into a demon? Like, do you have to like completely lose all human empathy?
You have to, because there's no way else to explain why you're that rich. Because here's the deal. No one earns that much money just for themselves. Yeah. In order to acquire all of that wealth, you have to basically say, we're not going to pay you what you're worth in all of these different fields, because that would take away from my profits.
Woo!
That's worker exploitation. That's classic boss-worker relationship in capitalism. Yeah. Vince McMahon is, you know, a shining example of the American capitalist.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, he had the way he built that WWE empire was off the blood and the bones of other human beings that died for him, so he could make his.
He died for Vince, bro.
People died for him.
People died for Vince McMahon.
People died for Vince McMahon. Yeah, like here's the thing, and I think this about any person that becomes a billionaire, even honestly kind of becomes a millionaire. I mean, millionaire, but like especially all billionaires. Think about it. Think about all billionaires and think about how insane they become, because you detach yourself from reality because you have all of this inhumane amount of wealth that you will never be able to even spend in your lifetime. Like you detach yourself from the experiences of real people because you have this power, and like I don't care. Like to me there's no such thing as a good billionaire, because simply having billions of dollars means that you've made your money off exploitation in some regard. And like and you know, and you see it with all these rich motherfuckers. Bezos has it. Elon Musk has it. They have just this sort of detachment from reality and humanity, and they have to like I don't know. Like you become an insane person. It's just not sane to have that much money.
Yeah, yeah. And
it drives you crazy.
And there's no way you could be relatable to the next person like standing next to you. You can't. You're on another level.
You can't. Yeah, exactly.
You're just on another level.
Yeah, and like you're on a level that no human should be on.
Yeah.
Because what it means is like that, all that wealth could be going to like people who do their jobs. But he doesn't pay them because like he has all the money. Like, why is it that all the wrestlers, compared to Vince, like don't make shit? And they're the ones that people pay to see.
That raises another question. Do you think this has anything to do with the budget cuts? Him throwing around money like that, which was apparently out of his own pocket, which is insane.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can dismiss it, especially right now. I think you have to consider it. Like, I'm not going to say black, straight out, it is or it isn't, but I think it's something you have to deal with. Like, you have to look into. Anytime a person with that much power, like Vince McMahon, is just using money like that, you have to think about it in terms of the moves he's making, in his overall business. And the blood deals that he's made with the Saudi government, which is ridiculous. All of those insidious things that Vince McMahon has done with his money, you have to connect it to like things like that. Like, there's no reason people should just be getting fired for budget cuts when Vince McMahon has that much money. And that's what
abrupt firings too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what it comes down to as well. It's like there's no such thing as like a shortage or budget cuts like in that, like, oh, we have to, think about the budget. Making the most fucking money. And why are they making that much money? Like where's the real problem?
Yeah.
And the real problem comes down to the fact that, Vince is a fucking capitalist worm who, he's a parasite that feeds off of the talents of other people. Like Vince doesn't do shit. Vince just, he doesn't, I don't think Vince is a genius. I don't think he's a visionary.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been a visionary. I think he's just been a dude with a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's all he's ever been. Is just a fucking psycho with a lot of money.
So you don't like him very much? No,
I don't like Vince McMahon. So,
No, I'm not really. I'm not really a big, huge fan of him. Of course, all the memories. Look, he got stunned. Oh shit, he got the beer bath. Of course that's fun to look at. But like, go behind the scenes. He's not going to talk to you one-on-one. He probably won't even look at you in the eyes.
And all the best memories you have of WWE, I would imagine, for me at least, too, have nothing to do with Vince McMahon as well, in terms of like the wrestling matches and stuff like that. Like that, those are the workers. Like for me, I'm there to see the wrestling.
The wrestlers.
The wrestlers doing their craft like that on that stage. Yeah. I don't give a fuck who's putting it on. Yeah. I don't care about them.
You're not going You're not going to a WWE event being like, oh, Vince McMahon is throwing a wrestling event.
Like,
I have to.
I don't go in and think, let's marvel at this. Let's thank Vince McMahon for all of it. Yeah. No, fuck Vince McMahon.
There you go.
Vince McMahon he's a rapist.
There you go.
He's a racist.
Okay.
He's an abuser in like every fact. He's basically covered up. He's covered up murder. Nancy Argentino. Look up that story.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka's girlfriend. Jimmy Snuka murdered her, and Vince McMahon walked in with a briefcase in a police station and put it on the table and then walked out. And that was the end of that story.
Hush money.
Hush money.
Been doing it for a while.
The settlements he's come to because he doesn't want shit getting out, because he knows he is a fucking monster, but he has grown so accustomed to it. I don't even think he thinks it's a bad thing. I think he just sees it like just as a sort of matter of fact, like kind of callous about it, just like is what it is. Like, I don't even think he's doing things like to be immoral. I feel like he's just doing things just, whatever.
He has manifested
like, the show has to go on, so let's get Owen's corpse out of the body, out of the ring, and let's keep the show rolling. Over the Edge, baby, 98 or 99.
Owen Hart has died.
What was after that? The Good Housekeeping match with Chyna and Jeff Jarrett. We had to see that one. We had to move the show on.
Yeah. Mop up the blood, bro.
Everyone was clamoring for that one. You know?
Bro. Oh my god. Bro.
Like, fuck Vince McMahon. Let's not even get it. Like Chris Benoit, for God's sake.
Oh man, yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah. This dude, bro, does he actually have?
Dude's a monster. Like, I don't like using the word monster for people because like humans do heinous things. I think when you call people monsters, it kind of detaches the fact that humans do shit like this. But Vince McMahon is as close to a monster as you're probably gonna get.
Dude, he has blood on his hands, yo.
He might have murdered someone himself. I would not be shocked. I'm not gonna. I'm not saying it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he did. I'm just
at least
saying.
a hitman or something. He got plus money to fuck somebody and keep him quiet.
I mean, he's probably given some undisclosed amount of money to someone to take care of it. You know what I mean? He's never outright said it, but he's had a lot of things taken care of. Let's say it.
Oh, for sure, bro. Oh man, what a mess! What a bastard, bro.
What a son of a bitch that Vince McMahon is. I'm not a religious guy. I'm not one to think of heavens and hells. But if there is a hell, that place was designed for Vince McMahon.
Man, just because he wanted to be just a very rich man.
He just wanted to be rich. Like that's really what he wanted to be, a fucking rich piece of shit. And
this ain't nothing about. This ain't nothing to do with wrestling.
His love was not professional wrestling.
It wasn't nothing to do with wrestling. Yeah,
his love was money. He wanted to make money, and he found out that he could do that by buying up the wrestling industry and then sort of sanitizing it for a mainstream audience, and then redubbing it sports entertainment, calling the wrestlers superstars. Yeah, they're not wrestlers; they're superstars.
Sprinkle that bullshit on it.
Yeah, just sprinkle that shit on there. And he's done it with covering up murders, letting people die to save money.
Yeah.
And, covering up he basically just tried to just pretend that Chris Benoit never happened.
Never existed.
After that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Vince McMahon's a very bad person. And anything that you like about Vince was because you liked the character of Mr. McMahon on your television. Yeah. That's all that is. Like any feelings of good feelings you have of Vince have nothing to do with the man Vince. They all have to do with the little character he portrayed, which he was still portrayed as a fucking psycho.
Yeah. He was still making his employees bark on the ground.
Do you remember when he tried to pitch the incest storyline with Stephanie McMahon?
And Shane McMahon making them fuck or something, whatever. I don't know what the plan was.
Yeah, and then it would come out that Vince was the biological father.
What?
What a fucking freak! That's like that. Like here, that's how you know that smart people aren't the ones like actually getting like only idiots get that much money. Yeah. Like there are some stupid motherfuckers with a lot of money, and Vince McMahon's one of them. That's one other reason I hate billionaires, because he's so much stupider than like I am. I'm a lot. You and I are both smarter than Vince McMahon on probably everything.
I would like to believe so. Goddamn,
you're probably you are way more intelligent than Vince McFucking.
Get me in the chair, Stephanie.
That man is a fucking idiot. He's and having that much money has to sort of delude your brain. Yeah, you know what I mean. Oh, we got less than a minute here.
We got less than a minute, but that's okay. If you want to, we can run it back if you want, because there's still some stuff I probably want to say.
Yeah, dude. If we kind of come back tomorrow, even, and just keep going if we want to. But regardless, Vince, fuck Vince McMahon. I hope he goes down. I hope his company burns to the ground, and I hope wrestling is finally free from the monopolistic shackles of the World Wrestling Entertainment. Free them. Free the workers. Free wrestling. Fuck you, Vince.
All right, guys. That was just our short little rant on the monarch that is Vince McMahon.
The monarchy of the McMahon family.
Yeah. What a mess. So just a fucking mess. We got less than a minute, y'all. We're gonna do like a little upgrade to where we can record more than 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we fit it in good. We fit in a lot of shit. Long story short, man, don't trust these billionaires, bro. Vince McMahon.
Don't trust a wrestling promoter in general, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Vince.
Some shady motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think he might try to cut this stream off right now, but we're gonna keep.
He might do it. Stand up for WWE.
Yeah. Here's a way to stand up for WWE.
10 of them. Email your friends and family about it.
You saw that shit? Man, that shit was fucking bullshit.
I was looking at it just before we recorded. I was looking at all the weird propagandistic things Vince has done to save his own ass.
To Digital Suplex Radio.
It didn't work, Vince.
Psycho.
$3 million hush money.
Psycho.
$3 million hush money wasn't enough, man. Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I think Vince McMahon got word we were talking shit about him. WWE tried to cut the feed.
Yeah,
but,
this was a copyright issue.
Yeah, we pulled some strings and
we weren't standing up hard enough for WWE.
Yeah, we didn't stand. We didn't send it to our TV stations. How great the programmer was. I forgot what that shit said. That shit was so lame, bro. Why they?
Dude, I have the list.
What is the stand up for WWE list, Shane? If you can.
There's like a whole thing.
Just to let y'all know, I've done every single step, so I am a WWE stan.
Yeah, I think I've stood up for WWE the way that I can.
Mm-hmm. I've done everything I can.
That's right. What we got? Okay, so it's still on their website. You can find this. You can WWE.com/inside/stand up for WWE. It is a real thing. We got.
We got to tell the people so everybody can get on board, man. We got to save this company, bro. They need us, man. They need us, bro.
I just had it up.
We have to, let people know that this is the brand that we will die by, live and die by.
Where'd it go? Oh, that's dumb.
Oh man, we lost the
10 ways to stand up for WWE. There it is. Boom. There are 10 ways to stand up for WWE. Are you ready for them? Okay, so they have this on from whenever they first announced it. So the first one is still tune in tonight to Monday Night Raw for a special announcement from Vince McMahon.
Can't wait to hear that.
There's one way you can stand up for WWE. Watching the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Getting those Nielsen ratings up. Let's go, motherfuckers. We got to get these on 90s level.
Yeah.
Let's see. Forward the stand up for WWE videos to your friends and family.
Yeah. Mom, I hope
upload video testimonials to YouTube and Facebook voicing your support for the WWE.
We're doing this right now. I love the WWE. I love them.
I love the WWE. I'm standing up for them to get rid of the fake news and monstrous libel from the mainstream media because my wife is running for political office.
So far, so good. 2 steps down, 8 to go.
Yeah. You can email your friends and family stating why you are a WWE fan. Imagine that. Imagine like emailing. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? I just gotta tell you about WWE.
Oh, you do? What? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just such a fan, man. I gotta tell you why.
All right, man, that's cool. Can we do this later? It's 3 a.m., bro. Like,
You're emailing like your cousin you haven't seen in like 6 years. To tell them actually you're emailing them.
Yeah, email. Yeah. Because fuck social media.
Email your coworker about it. You can write a letter to the editor of your newspaper.
Damn.
And tell them to stand up for WWE. Maybe you can do an op-ed in your local paper. You can share your favorite WWE stories on Twitter and Facebook. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was fun. Make I'm standing up for WWE your Facebook status.
Oh man, I'm on it right now.
Everyone, if you're listening to this now,
where's my phone? I got it.
Yeah, cut off this podcast. Pause it. Whatever you gotta do.
Yeah, this is more important.
Go to Facebook right now and let the world know that you are standing up for WWE.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You can read a story that you feel is unfair to the WWE. And then email the reporter.
Okay. Just
harass reporters for writing the truth.
Yeah. Just blindside them. They just trying to do their job. Fuck
they
that.
They trying to do their job, writing the facts, but they're not facts. This is just slanderous.
They're not trying to stand up for WWE, bro.
That's right. They're just there. Down. They're just there to get their You know what they say, man. Why let facts get in the way of a good story? You know what I mean? That's what they're doing over there.
Yeah, man. Fuck them, bro. Come on, man. Come on. We got to get some good publicity, bro.
Create signs or T-shirts for WWE live events that state I stand up for the WWE.
Awesome. I just got a new fresh pack of markers, bro. This is a blank.
A new fresh pack of Sharpies.
Yeah, bro. About to go to the
finally. I can finally use the T-shirt printer that I got.
The first shirt I made,
The first shirt I made is I stand up for WWE. Man. And of course, because we are a pro-America company, the WWE universe, love the troops. So tell those in the military they can attend a WWE live event for free when showing their active military ID.
There you go, man.
This is still up on the WWE website. You can find this at www.com/nslide/stand up for WWE/10 ways.
God bless America.
It exists. You can look at it. You can read it. And you can do all these things to stand up for the WWE.
So what you're saying is nobody has any excuse for not.
No one has an excuse, right? No. They've got all the resources.
Yeah, all the resources. Y'all have y'all
you have all the tools at your dispense to go in and let them. That's right. Get on Facebook.
Tell your mom.
Twitter, Instagram, MySpace. Tagged. What are the other what are the other ones? What are the other ones that fell apart?
Tumblr. Get on Tumblr.
Go to Tumblr.
AOL, IM, all that, man. We need to let people know that we stand for this company, bro, because they care a lot about us. So we gotta let them make sure.
That's right. That's a real thing that still exists. That's amazing to me.
Exactly.
What a mess. May Vince McMahon burn forever in the fires of hell. I
think karma gonna come around.
It's got to. It's got to. Like, there's got to be something. Something has to happen. Something. Give me something. He's gotten away with too much for too long.
I know
it's that clip from Breaking Bad.
They can't keep getting away with this.
Keep getting away with this.
That's
how I feel. That is how I feel.
I don't know. You know what, Shay? You made a bunch of great points. I can see. The dude went on Friday Night Live television in front of 2 million viewers after the scandal and acted like nothing happened.
It was like announced too. Like, stay in tune for a special announcement for Vince McMahon. And I was expecting him to kind of do some stand up for WWE shit, maybe like a reinvigorated campaign for 2022.
Yeah.
But no, all he said was welcome to SmackDown. And that is like, man, that's some baller shit though. Like, that's some baller.
And that's why people love him. That's why people love him. It's that Donald Trump.
Yeah, and he uses that. He like doubling down and kind of like, fuck them. Like, I don't give a shit. Well, I'm gonna run my show. Yeah,
a lot of people call it that. That's the alpha mentality. He's an alpha.
Oh yeah,
Chad. You know, like
absolutely. Yeah, like, so cool. All like stupid rich people have that. It's all stupid rich men. Like, stupid rich men have that weird, blind, like, alpha mentality that's not driven by reason, by facts, by anything other than fuck you. Like, it's all that. It's just pure fuck you energy. And and that's it. But yeah, that's the big one rocking the wrestling world. So there's that. There are some other stuff too. You know, that's not the only thing going on in the world of wrestling. There was a great conversation on wrestling Twitter, because wrestling Twitter is full of great conversations, full of great people with
You're just subjecting yourself to just the cesspool of the internet, bro. Wrestling.
Yeah, Twitter. I'm a bit of a masochist when it comes to wrestling Twitter. I'm a bit of a masochist. I love to get in there and just make myself mad for no reason. But there was a conversation. I think it's especially about AEW promos. So, like, as we all know, AEW kind of prides itself. They kind of tout it as like a creative thing that, you know, they don't like write their shows, like, in terms of like promos. They allow the wrestlers to kind of shape their characters, say what they got to say to move the story forward, yada yada yada, and there's been some criticism of that with some of the more like what people can like consider the more weaker promos, especially when it comes to like Thunder Rosa, for example, because people haven't been happy with like Thunder Rosa's like current run in terms of her like character work.
Yeah.
And sorry, I had to burp that one out.
No, you're good, man. The claws are coming out. The claws coming out.
Yeah. There ain't no laws, baby.
But yeah, I see a lot of criticism for Thunder Rosa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's getting a lot of criticism for the promos, especially just because, like, you know, well, honestly, it's because like they don't really give women's segment that much time anyway, so it's not like they only got like, you know, 15 seconds to say anything.
And before somebody runs in
5 other dudes matches.
Yeah, and like I noticed a little pattern with women's segments on Dynamite or AEW. Like they'll say something, somebody runs in, or somebody says something, they'll run in. It's just
it's always got to be some shenanigans.
When was the last time you seen somebody come out that's a women's wrestler come out and just have like a whole spiel like they give Hangman Page, like they give everybody else? Like, have that ever happened recently? Like,
I honestly don't think so. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you.
Maybe Serena Deeb
maybe Serena Deeb. Yeah, I guess because when she did the Shivani interview, yeah, and I guess like when they do they always do it with. I mean, they do it with Jade Cargill. She always gets her spots, but of course because she's Jade Cargill, right. And no shade on her. That was not meant to be said with bitterness at all. I love Jade, but
I love you too, Jade.
I love you, Jade. I'm a baddie.
Yeah,
put me in the baddie section, Jade.
Yeah, bro. Give me a spot right next to Kiera.
Give me a spot in the baddie section. Next to Kiera Hogan.
yeah. When I say right next to her, I mean right next.
Right next to her. Yeah. Like we good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there was it opened up this whole can of worms about the nature of like whether or not you should have writers to like kind of prep your promo work. Mm-hmm. Like, is the WWE form of here's everything we need you to say, and you're going to say it, versus the AEW, which is basically, which actually I don't even really know how they do it because they keep it open. But like, the idea is that it's like they give you a mic and say, go, just kind of go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I want to know, what are your thoughts, Darren? How do you feel about when it comes to like the nature of like TV writers for wrestling and like how much should be written out, like how much, should be, off the cuff kind of like from your head promos versus a more pre-written with like a team kind of thing?
Here's the thing, you don't want to talk about like, take ECW, for example, like talking about like 97, 98, 99 ECW. If you have a gritty product, like something that's super gritty, something that's very aggressive, like that might not, censors might not give a damn about, then yeah, go out there and be mad, be angry, cussing people out, say your catchphrases and stuff like that, go off the cuff, bring real life into it, et cetera, et cetera. But when you got a product like WWE, which is heavily marketed to kids and advertisers, you're going to have to write out every single thing that's said. Now, that wasn't the case back in the 90s because wrestling, you couldn't go on with wrestling. Bro, wrestling was beating out NFL final, like NBA finals games.
Yeah, it was like number one like all the time, week to week.
They weren't like over their competitors like this, you know what I'm saying, or like their athletes like that. So when you got a company like ECW, that's kind of like off the cuff, like NWA TNA, for example, too. That's where you get a lot of work shoot promos. That's where you get a lot of like real life anger, stuff like that coming out in promos and stuff like that. And you don't really have to write scripts or anything like that. You go out and say what you got to say. Going back to Smoky Mountain, they were giving, like Jim Cornette talks about all the time, like they were giving bullet points and like, hey, go out there and say this, say this, say this, and make sure you hit these points. Mm-hmm. So I think it can work without writers, but does AEW really need writers? Because we saw with MJF, nobody wrote that shit.
Yeah. Nobody and I think it comes down to a lot because not everyone's as strong as a promo as MJF. So like, I don't think like the micromanaging WWE style is like good necessarily. Like I do think freedom should be given to the wrestlers, like as it relates to their character. But I do think if you're a wrestler who is more like, as a wrestler like Thunder Rosa, who's very a lot of like what people connect you with Thunder Rosa is like kind of just that energy and the passion and the work she does in the ring. And like when it comes to the things she says on the mic, that isn't like the kind of the driving force that you think of Thunder Rosa for. You think of her for the presence that she has, with the high energy and like with like the really intense ring work. And so like, I do think that like, if you have wrestlers in your company that aren't as, naturally gifted on the mic, and it can be hard, especially with language, wrestlers that speak different languages. Like, cause I mean, Thunder Rosa is from Mexico. So her first language is Spanish. Hikaru Shida, she's from Japan. Like she's just learning English. Like, so Japanese is, her primary language. I think, and like Big Swole talked about this too, whenever she left, like she had talked about a lot of the sort of chaotic nature of backstage and how there were wrestlers that kind of wanted like some kind of structure, like narratively, that they can kind of work with because, they may not be as naturally apt to like the acting part of wrestling, which is important. Like you have to be able to kind of act a little bit, you don't have to, you ain't got to be out there winning Emmys or anything, but you got to kind of, sell it a little bit. You got to have some conviction. You got to like be able to like really make your character believable. And a lot of times I think there are like promos you hear where you're just kind of like, I don't think, talking and like shit talking and, talking your shit is like your thing. I don't think, and so I do think there should be, in some degree, there should be some kind of like, at least an option for wrestlers to have. If they feel like, hey, promos, not really my jam, can someone kind of guide me on this? Can someone give me some perspective? And I'm sure there is that, like, because they talk a lot about the camaraderie of the locker room and how everyone's supportive and everyone's helping each other out. And that's all fine and good. I just do think you do hear some promos that you kind of wonder, like, was anyone helping them with that one? Was anyone working on that? Did they screen that with someone before they decided to just say it?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have some writers, but I also don't think that WWE's way of saying, but here's the thing, and then you're going to say the thing, which is basically what they did to John Moxley. We're like, here's the stupid infection shit or whatever, the plague thing we're doing with the masks and the disease or whatever you're doing. Like, you got to say this.
Yeah, you have to.
Because it's such good shit.
Yeah, don't make it your own. Just say it. Just
yeah. Basically what I'm saying is there should be a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't hurt to have a roadmap.
Have you ever like we all been there, bro? We all wrestling fans. Have you ever cut a promo, like pretend cut a promo, like when you were little or something like that? I've tried it myself. That shit is hard. Like, I don't know if like anybody else has done like bullet points.
Well, because I don't think I'm that good. Because I'm not that good at roasting people. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not as good at like off the cuff, like, talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta think about it for a little bit.
No, that's a talent.
It's a gift. That's why I love like, NBA players who like can just like get deep into like the emotions of their opponents and like just really get to the core of them. Like, I remember watching Winning Time, the Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, it was like an ESPN film. Yeah, Winning Time, Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks. It's all about Reggie Miller's like playoff runs against the New York Knicks in the 90s, because the New York Knicks always beat them.
Yeah.
And like he always talked specifically about like John Starks, because he was always guarding John Starks. And like he would just say, because Reggie Miller was like, he was the trash talker of, the NBA.
Yeah.
He would always talk about like, just like, he just always knew the little ways to make John Starks tick, to just get him so mad and just get him out of his game. And that is a gift. That is a true talent. And it does not like, it's not easy to get on the mic and just like you're given, like, even if they say you got 2 minutes and fill that time and just talk your shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's
easier said than done. That's way easier.
Oh, for sure. But I used to play like my action figures and shit, and like, make them talk shit and cut promos on each other as well. I had shows, man. I created shows with those things. But yeah, like, I mean, promos are not easy. Promos are kind of hard. It's hard to like, because you kind of have to like, because you have to make it land. Because what happens if you say some shit and no one likes it?
And that shit lame.
Then it's just awkward.
Yeah.
It's just lame, and then no one cares.
You can't depend
on dead air.
Yeah, you can't depend on a punchline. You got to keep on going. That's why I love like dry humor, because you can just like, you can say something that's deadpan and don't react to anything. And if the crowd laughs, they laugh. Good. If they don't laugh, keep talking and keep saying jokes. But when it's wrestling, you only have a certain time to get to people and connect to them, and boom, 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 boom. If they didn't like it, damn, you're fucked, bro. You're trash at promos, or you suck at promos. It's way easier said than done.
Oh, for sure. And that's a huge part of it, especially in American wrestling. Like, it's not as huge of a deal like in Japan, because like for them, storytelling character work is done in the ring.
Yeah.
And like promos are really just for, I'm better than you, here's why I'm going to beat you. Yeah. And then like they have the post-match promos, like they have like the sports like press conference style. Yeah, like at the table. I went out there today. Yeah. And they talk about just the match, and they talk about like, just that, and then who their next opponent is. So like it's very simple. Like their storylines are, I'm going to fucking kick your ass, and here's why. And like with American wrestling, people need like motives. They need like, they need some like emotional investment.
Yeah, story
in that way. They need like a story in that, and like the kind of like that narrative kind of sense. And so it's not as easy. And I think anyone that's good at like, Eddie Kingston, CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
Like that isn't just a given. Like that's That's a real talent. It takes work to really be able to connect like that. And so I feel, and that's kind of why I kind of wish AEW had more of that, because if they do, they don't really talk about it much. All they really talk about is, yeah, we don't have writers. We let the wrestlers do the writing.
Which honestly isn't a good thing all the time, because I'll make this point. Chris Jericho, that's my point, you know. But now, so, like,
yeah, there's a thirst to that. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just because, you know, when you give a lot of power, and like, I feel like a lot of what was I gonna say, man? Because it's just like Chris Jericho is one of those dudes who like just throws out, like, we didn't need the Mimosa match. We didn't need, you know, a lot of the shit that he put out, like you know, proposed. And, you know, when you get, I mean, Danhausen's fun, Orange Cassidy is fun, but kind of make it make sense a little bit. You know, bring it back a little bit. When you talk about creative output for the wrestlers, you know, kind of make it make sense a little bit. Like, do we need the Young Bucks coming out with the Space Jam and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, and I might be getting off a subject a little bit right here, but I think that's where Tony Khan needs to put his foot down as far as like letting people have freedom, because sometimes it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things for the whole storyline. That's, you know.
Yeah. And a lot of them just like, you know, a lot of the like the speaking skills are just like, they're not as, you know, refined, and like it wouldn't be a bad thing to kind of give folks who maybe struggle with that some, you know, maybe they want some, you know, maybe they need someone to kind of write some of these things down and like allow them to kind of work on that with like a template of some sort. And they might have that. I don't know. But if they do, they don't really talk about it. All we really know is that the whole AEW thing is all the wrestlers are telling the stories and they don't have writers, you know, they just let it kind of free reign. And there's been some disagreements with that from actual wrestlers, like Big Swole, for example. Like, she was like, I really wish there were like a creative team that we could actually like work out these storylines, because like for example, for her, like she had a big storyline that was only on AEW Dark with Diamante. And like
I didn't even know about that.
Exactly. You didn't hear
about that.
And the matches were still like, they were so, yeah. And like they only told the story like, you know, here and there, and like it didn't make a lot of sense. Like, I mean, the story itself made sense, but like had it been, you know, displayed like, you know, on TV, and like what if like they were able to sit down with a team of like creative people to kind of hash out like plot points and like how do we move the story forward, because the wrestlers aren't always good at that. Some wrestlers just are not that kind. They aren't those kind of workers. Yeah. That's just a reality. Like being wrestlers, some of them are just like, they're really good at wrestling.
That's it.
And
that's where you need a mouthpiece. That's why you need a manager. That's what they're here for.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. For sure. And that's, and absolutely. And I do think you could have some people in there, you know, give them some points.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with like, you know, and Big Swole talked about how she didn't get a lot of that support when it came to storylines. Like, they just kind of told her, yeah, whatever. It was always kind of just like, hey, you got it. Well, whatever, you're fine.
Very lax.
Yeah, and she was very much like, I've got this story. Like, I'm, you know, I would love some help on this. Like, I would love to kind of really make this a really good story. And like, I would just like, you know, people who understand that side of things more. And I think that's a thing you definitely need in wrestling. There should be, wrestling companies should have acting coaches like on staff.
Yeah, and
they really should.
A lot of people a lot of people look at that statement, bro, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's an insult to like, you know, the promo class." But nah, like,
some of them just aren't good actors.
You have to make it believable, you know?
Because you're performing a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, and the whole thing is like, we want wrestling that's the real people. It's like, that's never going to truly happen, because everything's a performance.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you are like being yourself, you're still going to perform like a more inflated version of yourself.
Yeah.
So even that's kind of fictional in a way. So like, you do need to be able, like, especially if you're an American wrestling fan that loves your storylines, you want your wrestlers to be able to sell that narratively on the mic as well. And I mean, like, I say a lot of shit about MJF, but like, the man does have conviction. I'll give him that.
And
like, you know, and CM Punk's really good at that. CM Punk understands, you know, like, you know, he talks about like, you know, he's basing it off of himself. So it's kind of like a very like fictionalized version of himself that he gives out. But like, he understands that. He understands that character. And like, he himself, you know, he's not a bad actor. He's on the Heels show. He can act a little bit.
MJF, you know? He's on Heels?
No, CM Punk.
Oh, CM Punk, yeah, CM Punk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
CM Punk. But yeah, anyways, like, but yeah, it's like, I think because you have to make it believable, they have to believe why you think you can beat someone's ass. And if you're only good at like the physical in-ring stuff and like that's what you're relying on, that's all fine and good. But I wouldn't hurt, like, especially like if you want to make wrestling more narrative driven like that, like it wouldn't hurt to have some acting people to kind of give you some pointers. It'd probably make you a better wrestler overall.
Yeah,
because you're able to like, they'll tap into things and like things like little things you can do emotionally to like, sell things.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I'm with that. I think given the acting aspect, it just legitimizes it. It brings it all together, so that way it kind of looks.
Yeah,
like,
because a lot of the things, legit, a lot of the stigma around like wrestling is it's it's low art. It's stupid. Like there's it's unintelligent. And like if you really want to combat that and you really want to like show people why wrestling is like one of the best like live performing art, like sports theater type things, you want it to be good in all aspects. Like you'd want like the mic work to be done like in a way that is believable that people can buy into. And AEW, I do think AEW struggles with that because a lot of those promos people cut, well, they're just giving a mic to anyone and saying go out there. It's like, I don't know about all that. Yeah. Because wrestling, because like we've talked about like you've mentioned before, like wrestling is it's about what you do before and after the move. And I think having some like actual like theater acting people to kind of work through that with those that aren't as apt for that should be an option. Like I don't like the WWE version is also awful in like another extreme, but also the other extreme of
just let them
just get a mic and go like is
you do need a little bit of structure. I agree with
structure. That. And Big Swole was really big on that. She's like, there's just not a lot of structure. It's all just kind of out there. And that might be, Tony Khan's chaotic brain that he's working with over there.
He's like true chaotic neutral. Like when you talk about billionaires, like wrestling, like
oh yeah.
He's like
because like he tries so hard to be like a dude everyone likes, and it works for a lot of people. It doesn't work for me that much because I'm like I see through that shit. But you're totally right. You're totally right.
Got too much goddamn money. Breaking news: your boy's on Raw. Vinnie Mac has made an appearance on Raw. Breaking news: he's on Raw.
We're just getting this right in real time.
It's real time. This is breaking news. It's broken the internet. No, not really. He just kind of the same thing he did on. I got the video. I want to hear it. What did he say?
Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect, John Cena.
Oh, he's just saying John Cena's coming back. Why did he need to go out there for that?
Is John Cena there?
I don't know. I
know he's announcing that John Cena will be there.
I think he's saying John Cena will come back at some point. I don't know
what for SummerSlam.
I don't know what his plan is coming out on live TV like this. But anyway, yeah, your boy came back. We stood up for him, and now he's back. So
he's back. He stood up for WWE on Friday. He came back. He stood up for WWE again. You people should take a lesson from all of this. Like Vince McMahon standing up for WWE. What's your excuse?
What we tell y'all,
you know
man. What I mean? Come on, man. They need more money.
They need more money.
What did you want to talk about the Thunder Rosa situation real quick?
Oh yeah. I don't know if you watched the match.
I did.
Thunder Rosa had a match. It was tough. It was because like I don't think Marina Shafir is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to how AEW presents people, like the structure of things, how they present characters. It can be kind of like messy and not make a lot of sense. But like she's trying to really, like she really is bringing that like MMA shoot style wrestling to it. And Thunder Rosa was getting a lot of shit because like she was accused of like sandbagging, basically no selling Marina stuff, and like people are now questioning whether she is like respects the workers that she works with, and they're really coming hard for Thunder Rosa because they
on her ass, man.
They on her ass, and like the dentist, Britt Baker, kind of like, while not directly saying anything, kind of like egged it on a little, even if it was for like storyline purposes. I don't know, but like Britt Baker was kind of egging it on, and like is another whole layer of the dentist's whole thing.
Yeah,
the dentist.
But it wasn't nothing personal, was it? Or was it
No,
just like
because and I mean, like they went and like Thunder Rosa addressed it, and I don't think she was. I think people are
trying to blow it out of proportion a little bit, huh?
kind of blow it out of proportion. I think I don't know. Like I don't think she's sandbagging people. Like I don't know. From what
match,
I've
I mean, it was a rough match.
It was a rough match.
It's
like,
just Marina came out there before, and she wasn't really that much.
And it was kind of the same thing, yeah. Mm-hmm. And people were getting on her then too because
no reaction really.
Yeah, because like there was no reaction, and people were kind of like, why is she like so messy in the ring? Why is it look so sloppy? And then there was the whole argument of like, well, if she's trying to present it as a fight, you might see some struggle like that. And it might look a little messy. But that's, a conversation of whether or not, that's really about the shoot style wrestling. If it's a bad thing that there's some struggle, or does everything need to have like pretty, crisp, pretty sweet Irish little holds where everyone cooperates and, and I don't always think so. I think it's always good to have a little bit of struggle in there, a little mess. That's why, like, whenever I see a botch, I see like a botch, like everyone's inclination for some reason is to always, you fucked up. And I'm like, did they fuck up, or did they like do a storytelling thing there? Because like wrestling takes a lot of stamina out and a lot of strength.
Yeah,
and you're probably bound to fuck up a move, and you can use that. You can say like, oh, because they couldn't get it. They didn't get their foot. And like, the commentators do that. They try to like,
that's their job.
Things. They justify why something happened that way. But yeah, I think wrestling fans on the internet just don't like to have fun.
Yeah, they just don't stand up.
They just don't like to be happy. Yeah. And I get it. I understand what it's like to not want to be happy. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, but like,
come on, man. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get really, really, really critical for some reason recently a lot. I think it's because it's like this fake ass WWE versus this war going on. And if
there's
a
lot of insecurity that still is like in wrestling fans. There's like a lot of insecurity they project about being perceived as like fans of like unintelligent low art that they can kind of like lash out in some ways and like project by like talking shit about the thing they like, which is fine. Like there needs to be some criticism, wrestling is fucked up. As we've learned tonight, wrestling ain't always pretty.
There's blood on his hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Thunder Rosa is a no-seller or whatever that even fully means. I just think Marina Shafir's presentation, not Marina herself, I just think the way she's being presented, something is not clicking.
It's not.
Something is not clicking.
It's not. And I hate to be critical because I'm not in there busting my ass like they are, but it's, you see it when you're on TV. Like, this is national TV now. Now, you're sitting out there on national TV and she's performing like that. It's a night and day difference between everything else going on.
And especially because they were trying to like get her over like on Dark before bringing her on TV. Yeah, the YouTube show where matches are only like 30 seconds and there's like with no really other purpose than it just for once again padding some stats for a much bigger wrestler that at least is trying to get over. So that goes back to that. But yeah, I think wrestling fans can just be dumb, dude.
Yeah, and they broke bread. They made up after the show. They made up after the match, apparently, saying that was pretty wholesome, so
yeah.
Fans,
and I believe, like, Cassandra Rosa, like, she went on and she said, like, no, I respect every person I get in the ring with. And I do believe her. Like, even when I watched that match, because I've watched other Marina Shafir matches, and I'm like, it's just something about the way she's being presented isn't quite meshing. And they should figure that out, because I think Marina Shafir is talented. Like, I want to like her. I think there's a place for that kind of wrestling. I just think something about the way AEW is presenting her is just, it's not really clicking right now.
I get you.
And I think it's always kind of random too when they put Marina Shafir in there, like, because she hasn't been built like as big as a lot of other people. So they just kind of throw her in there and like kind of try to bring all that hype in at one time when it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, she's the problem.
Yeah.
She's the problem.
And like, it's like, even in WWE, we didn't see a lot of her. We knew she used to hang with Ronda Rousey and was like marketed as a fighter, but like we haven't seen no action from Marina Shafir.
Yeah, we haven't even. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think it's It's kind of just some dumb shit, really, honestly.
And that's wrestling. You know
that's
what I mean?
wrestling,
That's
baby.
Wrestling. But
yeah.
We had a fucking crazy ass show today. We had Shane go off on Vince. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck you, Vince.
Yeah, but you talk about you don't know how to roast people, man. You got on his ass. You know what I mean? You know,
that's that liquid courage.
That was that claw coming out. The claw. Ow, coming out, bro. You know
the Von Erich claw. Speaking of which, A24 is doing a Von Erich movie. Did you see
Zac
this?
Efron, right?
Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think he's gonna play?
Casting. I like.
Who do you think he's gonna play?
Who do you think? Carrie.
You think it was either Carrie or Kevin, one of the two. I could see him playing either one.
Yeah, Carrie he just had the body, bro. He had the body.
Yeah, he was all body.
My mom had a big ass crush on the Von Erichs when they used to come to the what was it called in
Sportatorium.
She had a big ass crush on.
Oh, your family from Dallas? They're all Dallas people.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my dad used to go to Sportatorium too. So.
Oh, that's right. That's history right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad loves the old ass wrestlers.
Old wrestling.
Like Stan Hansen, spoiler number 1, and I'm like, damn, who the fuck are they?
The Freebirds.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy.
And like all that shit, yeah, you know the deal. But like the wrestlers, bro. He's like, well, I was watching when I was little, getting into wrestling. He was like, who the fuck is Jeff Hardy? Who the fuck is John Cena? You know, he's like, these ain't wrestlers. You know,
I'll show you when wrestling was wrestling, baby.
I'm like, Dad, I'm falling asleep. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking. I'm sorry for all the whole head wrestling fans out there.
Going back older, like not as a kid and like watching wrestling different. I do appreciate old shit a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I could get why I wouldn't like it as a kid because you wanted the big, the bright stuff because that's what you're used to. But
yeah,
going back, I'm like, I can see why this was the shit back then.
Yeah, very primitive for its
yeah. I fuck with it. I fuck with that style.
Hell yeah. But y'all gonna get out of here, man. It's been a crazy ass episode. We went ahead and did a double Zoom for y'all. Well, this is one we had to do the double Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure nothing was left unsaid.
No, there you go. That's what we're supposed to do.
It's just more of for clarity's sake.
There you go. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was some of the most fun I've had so far.
Hell yeah, this is probably one of our best episodes. And for those of y'all who's fucking with us on TikTok, keep on doing that. Tripping on my words. Keep on messing with us on TikTok. Also, check us out on YouTube. If y'all are still there, check us out on YouTube. Shout out to Shane holding it down on Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And we will catch y'all next time because I'm sure some more bullshit will happen. So for me, it's been Shane and Digital Suplex Radio. We out.
Peace.